Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Monster Cup Winter Season 2014. You're here for the quarterfinals, and we're here with SK versus Playing Ducks. That's SK Prime, and the first game going across to SK Prime, and despite being an incredibly close game, they did manage to take it in the end. Sorry.
Yeah, anyway, that was largely due to the fact that the team composition they were running with really benefited from getting to that late game. Obviously, to begin with, the Pantheon pickup and the Rumble versus the Maokai helped Playing Ducks secure an early lead, but it wasn't something that they could sustain into that late game.
No, definitely wasn't. Just in case you've only just joined us, your casters for tonight are myself, Munchables, and casting with me is Osigalus. We're going to be heading straight into the Champion Select of this second game, though. SK obviously 1 point in the lead now in this best of three, and Playing Ducks playing to stay in the tournament right now.
Yes, they definitely are, and actually, interesting bans coming out here. We've seen the Warwick get banned and the Syndra, and those were two champions that really dictated a lot about last game, although arguably, I'd say that Taiki's work wasn't that impressive. He spent a lot of time using his infinite duress on targets that didn't end up, being able to be locked up because Broicky picked up that early Mercurial Scimitar, so he didn't do that much with the ult. On the other hand, God Bro on Syndra, I have never before seen that many multi-target, amazing Scatter the Weeks. He was God Bro Syndra in that game. Like, it was just crazy.
It was indeed. I mean, he did so much work for his team, and that respect ban I can completely understand. Weirdly, I didn't feel he did too incredibly in the early game, but then once we got towards that mid game, he absolutely destroyed the enemy. And I mean, Koi got caught out so many times by those Scatter the Weeks, and every single time, like I said before, every single time one of those Scatter the Weeks landed, the rest of the team would immediately jump onto that target and obliterate them.
Yeah, it was really nice. So let's look at the rest of the bans real quick, because there's a few picks now. Jacenar, Pantheon, and Zed are the remaining bans that we haven't talked about. Pantheon was played in that game on the side of Playing Ducks. They didn't win, but it was very, very strong in the early game. It doesn't surprise me too much to see that being banned. We've also got the first picks now in. Irelia being picked up for Playing Ducks, Koi. That's a very strong champion at the moment. We saw it do really not very well in the earlier quarterfinal game we had between the other two teams, Sample Text and Dark Passage. However, it is a champion that has a potential to do really well, so it doesn't surprise me that that got picked up. Elise is an interesting one, though. That's not something we've seen for a little while.
Yeah, Elise, not a champion that you see very often. Obviously, she got hit fairly hard by a few nerfs, and that was a few patches ago. Really not seen her very often since. And I mean, immediately after that nerf, a lot of people were basically calling her a cocoon bot, like just not having enough damage to be viable and only being just there to throw out stuns. And we'll have to see if that is the case. Obviously, the new jungle items could be in a bit of a better spot now. I've not really seen her since the new patch has come through.
I did actually see a few of the sort of top-level streamers playing her on the PBE before 4.20 went live, and a few of them speculated that she would actually be quite strong. There are a few reasons for this. Firstly, she's fairly mobile, she can get around the jungle really quickly. Secondly, she actually does have some sustain. Her W in Spider form provides her with a small amount of spell vamp and lifesteal, I believe. And in addition to that, she's quite durable in the jungle, because if you use your spiderlings correctly, they can tank a lot of the brunt of damage that's coming your way. So if you add all of that together, plus the fact that she's good at ganking, she actually is quite solid in the new jungle, or at least so I've heard from some better players. I haven't seen her in action yet, because it doesn't seem like many of the amateur teams have been experimenting with the jungle slot that much. They've been experimenting with top lane and mid lane quite a lot, but in the jungle, I mean, Warwick, I can't class that as experimentation anymore. That's something that's pretty solidified in 4.20. Elise, on the other hand, that's kind of new.
Yeah, and I feel like the Warwick pickup, as you mentioned, will be pretty much solid within the meta until either he gets nerfed or the jungle items get changed slightly, because he is just so effective right now. And I think a lot of it is, I mean, initially a lot of it was down to the Skirmisher Saber just working well with his ultimate and you being able to one-shot people. But a lot of it as well is just down to his sustain in the jungle. He's able to keep on farming for basically as long as he likes, similarly to Nunu and Fiddlesticks. Those three champions right now have a very easy time in that jungle, just farming away, where some other junglers would struggle.
That is very true, and actually Zillion being hovered over here, that would be a very interesting mid lane pickup against this team composition. Against Ahri, it negates a lot of the level 6 pressure. It has actually been locked in. Zillion negates a lot of that level 6 pressure that you get when an Ahri, hits that level, gets Spirit Rush, goes in, tries to charm you. If you can use your ultimate Chrono Shift on yourself when she does that, it can result in you being significantly far ahead because you can just stay around, keep placing bombs, and if your jungler comes, you're in a much better spot without your ultimate than Ahri is.
Yeah, definitely true, and we'll have to see if he's able to do that. Obviously, you're not able to use Chrono Shift while you're in CC, so if Avenue is able to land that charm and burst him down before he's able to use the Chrono Shift, we could see a bit of an assassination. But obviously, Elise Ahri is a combo that we've seen quite a lot of before, and regularly you would see that with a Morgana support as well, because you can just chain those CCs together. We'll have to see if Playing Ducks are able to run with that, and looking at their team, they've got an incredibly pick-based comp.
They do indeed, and actually, that's another reason why I really like the Zillion pick, because basically, look over at Playing Ducks' team. Irelia is going to dash to your backline, try and pick someone off, especially if she hits her mid-game spike early. You've got Elise, who's going to conclude someone in the jungle, followed up by Ahri and maybe a pole of headbutt combo coming out of the Alistar. If you add a Zillion onto the other team, they can find, if they have good enough vision control, they can potentially bait out situations where Playing Ducks goes for a pick, and a Chrono Shift comes down and negates that, and then they turn the fight around. It's also excellent in team fights against this composition, because Irelia is going to try and dive onto Steelback, and she's got the capability to do so. Same thing with the Elise. She can use her repel, get to that backline, but if Chrono Shift goes down on Steelback, it's going to be very hard to take him down. I really like this composition. It is sort of vaguely a protect the Corki composition, and actually Corki does a lot of damage. It makes sense.
Yeah, and looking across the board, we're seeing Brokey on the Lucian and Steelback on the Corki again, just like we did last game. I'll be interested to see how that pans out for them. I mean, Brokey got really far ahead at the start of the last game, but Steelback ended up with, I think it was 11-2-10 or something ridiculous on that final scoreboard. So Steelback doing a really, really good job in those team fights. But we'll have to see if that is the case in this next game again. But I believe we are going to head into a short music break before we head into the Rift for our second match in this quarterfinal between Playing Ducks and SK Prime. SK obviously picking up the first game. It's going to be an exciting one. Don't go anywhere, guys. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Monster Cup. We're going to be heading straight onto the Rift. On our blue side we have the Playing Ducks. In the top lane we're going to have Koi on Aurelia. In the jungle we're going to have Zion Uzi on Elise. In the mid lane we're going to have Avenue playing Ahri. And in the bot lane we're going to have Steelback on the AD carry Corki and the Barney D on the support Thresh.
Yep, and on the other side, on the side of Playing Ducks, we got Beansu in the top lane, Taike in the jungle, Godbro, Oni-chan in the mid lane, and Steelback and Barney D in the bot lane. Brookie and Sazed are actually the bot lane for SK Prime. Playing Ducks. I got it the other way around as well. SK Prime are on the right, Playing Ducks are on the left. SK Prime are up a game. This is going to be a good one.
Definitely is. We should see some interesting stuff coming out. No level 1 action going to come out of either of these teams so far. Got a couple of wards coming across. They both know where the opponents are, so not going to see anything too crazy. Would expect both these bot lanes just to go for that initial jungle clear to begin with, just to make it a little bit easier in that lane. Neither of them obviously wanting to lose that level 2 advantage.
Yeah, interestingly, again, we're seeing the bottom lanes both go for their camp, rather than the bottom lane of red side trying to contest the camp of blue side. This is something that's very different from the first best of 3 we saw, and, it worked relatively well last time. Godbro actually taking a lot of damage just from a few autos and an Orb of Deception. But yes, in this bot lane, I'm actually kind of surprised that Steelback and the Barney D decided not to try and put some pressure down onto the Krugs. They have a lot of damage to do that, and at level 1, without access to his combo, Sazed is not that much of a threat. Certainly, the Pulverize or the Headbutt, if he decided to go with either of them, is good, but Thresh provides a lot of damage as well as his CC. Top lane, Binsu is doing a lot of damage to Koi actually, although that does enable the stun to come out. Godbro getting hit by the Charm in the mid lane, taking a lot of damage there too. So, looking at some of the starting items, one thing that I'm noticing straight away is that we've got Biscuits of Rejuvenation on both of the mid lanes. They've both decided to go for utility here, which is very interesting. I'm a little bit surprised that Avenue didn't decide to go for something with defense and offense so that she could be more aggressive. It's an interesting decision. Although Taiki gonna get charmed.
Oh man! Manages to land the knockup. There's the bomb as well. The Ignite goes down. Is it going to be enough? I don't think it is. Oh! Yes! No, it doesn't. But Jarvan goes down. A nice counter kill from Avenue. Able to pick that one up for his team.
That was very nice by Avenue, and that's not the start you want if you're either Taiki or Godbro. In fact, the entirety of SK Prime's team. Oh man, top lane as well. Binsu's getting beaten on here. Koi has much more mana than Binsu, so past this point it's going to be really easy for him to keep the aggression up on Binsu. And on the flip side, due to the fact that he's only got that Dorn's Ring, much harder for Binsu to deal with that aggression. But yes, looking at this mid lane, Flash and Ignite were burned for Godbro. He didn't get a kill. He actually had to back off afterwards. Taiki is behind because of it. Avenue has a kill. He's got an extra Dorn's Ring. And I would definitely argue that not having your summoner spells is much better for Avenue than it is for Godbro. Godbro is not nearly as mobile, especially if these guys hit 6 anytime soon.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about this earlier. If Avenue is able to get an assassination, if he lands that charm, Oni-chan won't be able to use the ult. And unfortunately, does have a slight disadvantage in experience. That's partially just down to the fact that he's against Zilean.
Oh, top lane.
Having the extra XP, but we are going to see in the top lane. Got a gank going down. Binsu in a lot of trouble. Koi trying to secure this one for his team. Zion Uzi is going to manage to get that one in the end. He's going to repel. Does manage to dodge away the Spiderling, tanking that tower there.
That was such a nice, or rather staggering of crowd control coming out of playing Ducks there. You know, the Elise waited until just the last second of the stun. Oh, Taiki's coming in this mid lane onto Avenue again.
Yeah, Avenue in a bit of a bad spot here. Doesn't have any summoner spells. Not going to be CC'd up, though. Should be able to just walk away from this. Actually, lands the charm and a lot of damage back down onto Taiki.
Playing Ducks are doing so good in this early game, and their composition is well suited for it. Later on in the game, once it gets to the point where Godbro's Chronoship brings someone back with practically full HP and mana because of its AP scaling, they're going to have a much more difficult time than in the early game. However, in the early and mid game, that's where this composition shines in getting picks and getting kills early and abusing the power spikes of someone like Ahri or Irelia to really snowball the game. Both of those champions are doing nicely already, and it's like I was saying earlier in that top lane gank, that was a perfect staggering of crowd control. The cocoon came just after the Equilibrium strike ended, so that Binsu did not have any opportunity to flash before all of the damage they could put on him went down. Really nicely played by Playing Ducks. They are off to a great start this game.
Yeah, they certainly are, and Koi looking to be very aggressive in this top lane up against Binsu. He's able to dodge away from the sapling. Gonna win that trade out slightly, but not by a massive amount. And Binsu seems to be struggling a little bit in this lane, not massively. Obviously, does have that death due to the gank, and we'll have to see if Koi's able to snowball that. When they start to get to about level 9, Irelia is going to have a little bit of kill pressure up there, so it's going to be down to whether or not he's able to finish his Rod of Ages before Koi hits level 9, and I don't think he will.
Looking over at some of these other lanes, mid lane, I'm actually kind of surprised Godbro is doing as well on CS as he is. You know, he's picked up that early tier. Obviously, it's a really nice item on a Zilean. He has, oh, Brokey gets hooked though. Hang on a second.
Brokey could be in trouble. There's a really nice play as well. Gonna walk away from that one though. Really nice headbutt from Alistair to negate that.
As I was saying though, in that middle lane, the tier pickup on Zilean is really good. His spells cost a lot of mana, especially the bombs, and you want to be able to spam those. So getting that early mana regeneration and increased base mana or increased mana total is very, very useful. Zion Uzi actually, wow, Taiki's being bold here.
Taiki could be in trouble. There's the flash from Zionuzi. Going to be able to save his life there. And a nice just summoner burned there. Good warding from Taiki to know that Elise was there.
It's very important that he actually did burn that flash. Obviously, Taiki's a little bit behind. Needs to be careful if he gets into any exchanges with Zionuzi. So by burning that flash, he's still a level behind. He still died once, but it means that there's not going to be any crazy flash engage on him in the jungle coming out of Zionuzi, followed up by a cocoon. So really nice there. Flash though in the bot lane.
Flash Pulverize is going to land onto Barney D. The Ignite is ticking as well. A nice flake lands onto both of them. There's the Death Sentence is going to land as well, but Barney D is going to go down. Lucian picking that kill up.
That was so impossible for him to get away with that he actually just stood there and let it happen. Because he did that, it gave Zionuzi a chance to get in range for the assist gold, which is actually pretty bad. It means that he is even further ahead than he would be with just that one kill under his belt. Top lane, BMC's out of mana. He needs to be careful picking a fight with Koi right now. Although Taiki's here.
Koi is out of mana as well. The heal is on cooldown now for Binsu, but Taiki is coming in. There's the slow from his shield. Is he going to be able to pick this one up? Koi does have flash available. He should be okay for this one. Does have to use it in the end.
And whilst that was all happening, we actually saw the dragon go the way of Zionuzi. That was really nice by playing Dux, baiting it out with Koi overextending in the top lane into a fight he couldn't necessarily win. Avenue might go on to Taiki here. He needs to be really careful. You're only level 5, buddy.
Yeah, and this could be dangerous. Oh! He actually goes on to Godbro Oni-chan. There's going to be the Chrono Shift used, and now we're going to see Koi jumping in. He's going to dive for this one. There goes the Orb of Deception. That's going to be a lot of damage. Taiki also incredibly low under this tower, and a beautiful dive by Koi.
That was a really nice mind game by Avenue at the beginning. Definitely looked like he wanted to go onto Taiki, having used the charm on him, but actually turning on to Godbro at the last second. However, we might not have needed to see the teleport down coming out of Koi had he charmed and just instantly burst Godbro. Ooh, Avenue is being so aggressive right now. He is very far ahead, to be fair. 2-0-0. He's got 2-1 ring and an Amp Tome. He's going pure aggression right now in this mid lane. And actually, he still has the majority of his Biscuits of Rejuvenation that he started the game with. He is so far ahead right now.
Yeah, and unfortunately wasting that flash in the mid lane trying to get the stun onto Jarvan. Had he got that, that would have snowballed him even further ahead, but would expect to see him going to base relatively soon. Has enough gold for a needlessly large rod right now, and I would expect him to be going for a DFG first line. Obviously, it synergizes incredibly well with the charm. Obviously, you get the amplified damage.
Oh my god, Binsu in the top lane, holy
in
cow.
a lot of trouble here. Does have to flash away from that one.
Yeah, not surprised there. Eventual Maelstrom did block a lot of that damage, and thankfully for him, Koi didn't have much mana or HP to follow up with that. Otherwise, he would have been engaged on. Koi actually doesn't have his flash available either, thankfully. Say's nearly getting hooked up by Barney D in that bot lane. Not quite. The Steelback is putting down so much good poke damage. He's got his Phage complete, which means he can run forward, go for a rocket, auto-attack something, run back quicker, and that can get him away. Koi, though...
Oh, nice Blade Surge. Gonna get him away from that knockup, but Taiki actually taking a lot of damage from Koi here, but it's not gonna be enough. That kill goes across onto Taiki. Koi going down in the top lane.
That was really badly needed from SK Prime. Taiki obviously was behind due to his earlier death, but in addition to that, that lane was hard for Binsu because Koi was starting to get quite strong. They also had no kills on the board against 4, Dragon down. They need to start picking up kills like that. It was a very nice gank by Taiki, being aware that there's no flash on Koi and that a Cataclysm could easily secure that. Bot lane though, Brokey gets hooked.
Yeah, Brokey could be in trouble. There's the box as well. TP coming down from Binsu. He's going to be able to get the Twisted Advance, or is he? There's the Ignite though. That's going to finish it. Barney D actually flashing forwards unnecessarily there, but with Dragon, I thought Dragon was about to spawn. It is not. But Zionuzi now trying to head down, but gets spotted out by a ward, and just a nice pickup from SK. The gold, 1,000 in the lead of playing Ducks.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job. As I said earlier, their composition is definitely one that favors the early game, and they're doing a really good job of abusing that right now. Godbro is struggling a lot in this mid lane. Look at his CS. He's really far behind Avenue, and in addition to that, item-wise, he is down like a whole needlessly large rod. That is insane. Avenue, if he finds anyone on the side of SK Prime right now, can burst them very easily. He's working towards that Deathfire grasp. As soon as he gets that, it's going to become even more impossible to get away from his ganks, so would not be surprised to see him start to roam as soon as he picks that up. Taiki being forced out of his own jungle by Xayah. This is what happens when you get set this far behind early on as a jungler. Thankfully, he's able to pick up the final kill on the big mob, securing himself most of the experience and gold with that smite. But as a result of that smite being down, it means that Elise can roam elsewhere and try and pick stuff up. Top lane, Koi's going on to BMC, but there's an Elise coming up to help.
Yeah, this could be bad for BMC. He's going to take a lot of damage. Elise jumping in with massive damage. Elise so squishy though, but BMC is going to go down in the end. Nike trying to chase this one out. I don't know if this is a fight that he wants. If they kite correctly, they should be able to win this. Xayah takes a lot of damage. The cocoon is there. The Cataclysm not going to do any damage because of the repel. Beautiful play there by Xayah.
That was absolutely superb play, knowing that he was just in range for the repel onto the minions. Obviously, your Q, whilst you're in Spider Form, does act as a gap closer who's able to jump over the Cataclysm wall and get that kill very easily. Taiki had already burned his flash, trying to get in range to save Binsu, so that was not available for him to escape that. Nice attempt on Xayah, but you gotta be careful when you're playing from behind, not to try too hard to go for things you're not going to be able to take. They're falling further and further behind. Avenue in the mid lane.
The charm is just going to miss, but it's not going to matter. He has enough damage to pop the Chrono Shift, but that is an ultimate for an ultimate. But if Avenue still has one charge now, he's just used his last charge of Spirit Rush. If he can get onto Oni-chan, then there's a good chance that he'll be able to pick up the kill now with that on cooldown. But
that
the
is
cooldown of
true.
Chrono Shift so long. So short even.
Avenue here going in on him because Xayah coming. Meanwhile, top lane, BMC taking a lot of damage. Koi has so much damage right now, even without that many items.
Yeah, and that's just the story of Aurelia when you hit that power spike. Doing a really good job, but now we're going to see. This game has been so much more aggressive than the last game. 6-2 in favor of playing Ducks right now. 2,000 gold ahead, and already have that dragon as well. But we're going to see Xayah being aggressive in this jungle, pushing Taiki away from that pink ward.
Taiki is really struggling. If he tries and, like, because Spirit Rush is down, he wanted to get that gank onto the mid lane, right? He goes in and Avenue just says, yeah, like, try and gank me, dude. I'm just going to walk towards you. Taiki is so afraid. He didn't know that Xayah was there, but he couldn't commit to the gank, just out of the fear that he was. Now the mid lane tower is falling. It's going to be the first tower of the game. It's going the way of playing Ducks. They are sitting at a very nice 3k gold lead right now at only 14 minutes. Dragon has just respawned. They got the first one. Can they get the second one? That will be a very big deal if they can.
Yeah, and that DFG now picked up for Avenue, and that is going to be huge for him. If he can pick up the kills early now, with that Chrono Shift, it is available again. Spirit Rush is going to be available shortly, but I would expect him to try and roam now. If he can pick up fights away from the Chrono Shift,
whoa,
he could do a lot of damage, but Binsu getting absolutely chunked by Koi. Koi trying to follow in onto this one. The Twisting Maelstrom going to do a decent amount of counter damage, but Koi, not having very much mana, doesn't want to commit to anything.
That was absolutely insane damage coming out of Koi. He did hit level 11 first. Now they're bot lane.
Says managing to get the pulverize, doesn't do much though. Taiki on this front line gets obliterated. Brokey doing so much damage already. The box is there. It's going to block out Saze, but Saze is so tanky. That's not the target that they want. Xayah is going to go down. That's one kill each now, but the death sentence lands onto Brokey, but Barney D may go down. There's the flash. Oni-chan having to use the Chrono Shift on himself, but he's not in a very good position. He's going to go down. Koi doing an excellent job to dive this tower. That's going to be Barney D going down. That's going to be Corky going down to follow. The Ignite might pick up Koi, will it? No, it won't. He survives in the brush. He's trying to base. Can Godbro get there in time? I don't think he can. Oh, he can! He manages to stop it, but he's getting aggressed upon. Can he survive this? Yes, he can. Just. Godbro survives
very close. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the amazing things about Zilean. Not specifically in that fight, but in the earlier fight in bot lane, that time warp just made it so easy for Skillback to get there. Although here comes Taiki trying to get the steal.
Oh, but beautiful play by PD. They just completely stop that happening. They turn away from the dragon, and now they turn onto Binsu. He's doing so much damage there. Twisting Maelstrom might pick up a double kill. Picks up one onto Ari. Now he picks up the kill on Saze. And Brokey is in so much trouble. The death sentence going to save Oni-chan's life. There's the time bomb picking up SK, turning this fight in their favor. And now Xayah trying to do what he can, but a rocket from Steelback out of nowhere picks up another kill. 4 for 0 in that dragon exchange.
That was insane, and it was exactly not what you wanted to have happen if you're playing Ducks. That could not have gone much worse, to be completely honest. Godbro survived on so little health for so long, just kept bombing people. Also, holy cow, Beansu's damage is insane. All he's got is a Rod of Ages, but just popping that Vengeful Maelstrom did so much damage onto Ahri and onto Sazed that he was able to pick up those kills very quickly, stop them from helping out, trying to get the kill onto Godbro, which let Godbro kite Xayah around and finish it up. So nice there. At the moment, SK Prime are definitely coming back into this, but Taiki really needs to get back into this the most. He is 1 for 4, very underleveled. Top lane, Koi's actually getting engaged on.
Yeah, this is not a fight that he wants. He's in a 2v1. Beansu will be able to tank up his damage, and we're going to see Twisted Arm Bounce coming through. Beansu actually getting very low, but there is the Chrono Shift. Koi going to get caught up by the Cataclysm. They're going to donate that kill. No, they're not, actually. Beansu taking that one away. And Avenue coming up, trying to help his teammate, but he's not going to be there in time, and he's going to be warded out.
That was actually very close to Beansu dying. Oh, Steelback, boy.
Uh-oh, Steelback in so much trouble. He is going to go down. A beautiful crit there. Oh, such a nice cocoon landing under the tower.
That was a beautiful cocoon swipe. It wasn't even necessary, but it gets him the assist. And actually, that's something very small that Xayah has been doing a lot in this game. Picking up assists where not necessarily, he was needed for the kill. It's meant that he's a little bit further ahead than he otherwise would be. Gotta commend him for that.
Yeah, definitely do. He's going to be doing quite a lot of damage, but not very tanky at all at this stage. Xayah, I would expect him to start to build a little bit tanky. Obviously, gone with the major enchant on his jungle items, so we'll have to see what he builds into next. But the smite is going to go down onto the blue buff. The hook does land for Barney D, but deciding not to follow up onto that one. Do not want that fight right now, apparently.
It was a really nice hook. Oh, top lane Beansu. We saw how close it was 3v1. This is 1v1.
Yeah, Koi is being so aggressive, and that's been the story of this lane so far. Just constant aggression from Koi, and he looks like he's setting up these minions to try and Blade Surge back in, but not going to have much of an opportunity. Or is he? He's going aggressive again. Every single time that true damage is off cooldown, he goes aggressive.
Indeed, and Taiki actually walking towards this top lane. He might be able to find himself a blue here, although there is going to be an Alistar and an Elise coming up there. He actually needs to be careful not to get baited into something here. Sazed might catch him out and knock him up. Not going to do so. Avenue would have been able to turn around and go for that straight away, but top lane Beansu yet again getting engaged on round 500.
Yeah, we're going to see Koi Blade Surging to a minion to stick onto Beansu here, and Beansu could actually be in trouble, but then again the damage is being traded back across heavily. Koi now on the back foot, having to run away, but there's the slow. Slicing Maelstrom going to do a lot of damage when it pops, but Taiki has arrived with a beautiful cocoon. The DFG going to land as well, but that is going to be Koi going down. Avenue not having the damage to save his teammate. Now the Chrono Shift is going to save Beansu's life. And that's going to be 2 of them going down. A triple kill coming across on the side of SK, and now Saze is the last man standing. He's not going to be able to do anything on his own. He's going to go down. Actually, a flash is going to save his life for a minute, but it's not going to be enough. There's the time bomb. There's the rocket from Corki. 4 kills again coming across from SK, and they managed to take the gold lead, but in the meantime, look at bot lane.
That was such a crazy fight. I mean, Koi being over-aggressive has cost him his life a few times now. You'd think he'd be learning his lesson, placing some better wards, but unfortunately, he hasn't really been doing that. Also, he used Equilibrium Strike on a minion, which meant that Beansu could just turn around and keep doing damage, didn't get stunned up for any time at all, and just great rotations from SK Prime is really being the story of how they're coming back into this game. Looks like they're actually going to pick up this middle tower as well now. That is huge. They're in a position where they actually have more towers now. They're also in the gold lead. How did this happen? They're so far behind.
I know, and it's just purely off the back of 2 really nice team fights for them. The culling actually going to come through onto Godbro, but not going to be able to secure anything of that, but just going to slow down his base. Dragon is going to be up in 1 minute 20. These teams need to start to get some vision around there, and SK already doing that.
Yeah, I mean, this vision war is going to be so very important. If you look at the side of SKP, they don't actually have any dragons yet. So they're missing even that basic 8% AD and AP that typically both teams get. I mean, normally you get a dragon on both teams. It means that you're fighting with the same damage levels, and relative to one another, it doesn't do that much. However, when it's only on one team, that's actually a pretty big difference. That's 8% more damage. That's a lot more damage. And if SK Prime can get this, they're going to be in such a better position when it comes to fighting as the game progresses, because obviously as a percentage increase, it's only going to get better as you get higher amounts for it to scale with.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if they do get that. Obviously 30 seconds left on this dragon, and this is such a huge objective for Playing Ducks right now. Oh, Say's getting hooked up there, but obviously Alistair not really the target that they want to be going on right now.
Nah, he is far too tanky. He also does have his ultimate Unbreakable Will available to him, so he would easily have been able to deal with that. Broaky, on the other hand, does not want to get hooked. He's not going to be able to get away so easily. Top lane, BMC, engage him. There's no one to back him up this time.
Yeah, Koi going really aggressive yet again, jumping onto BMC. There is a big minion wave targeting, and obviously the sustain BMC has. He's really struggling to secure any kills from this aggression.
He is indeed, and actually, that aggression would still be useful even if he didn't get a kill, due to the fact that BMC would have been lower health teleporting into the dragon fight. Unfortunately though, he just went back to base. Now if he TPs, it can't even be stopped by an equilibrium strike, and he's full health and he's bought more items. That was not the best time to go aggressive for Koi. He should have waited until the dragon fight actually began.
Yeah, we're gonna see the wards being cleared out and SK gonna be starting off this dragon, and right now, there's not really anything Playing Ducks can do about this. They're going to be able to trade a top tower for that, but one dragon coming. Sorry, I think my.
Oh, the charm lands!
But the charm lands onto Oni-chan. He's going to get the chrono shift. That's going to keep him alive. But now Avenue in a lot of trouble. A beautiful death sentence. It's going to follow up. Avenue getting ignited. There's the Cataclysm. Going to secure the kill now. Steelback having to flash over the wall. Broky in so much trouble right now. Flashes away, but Beansu gonna follow him on here. That's going to be Broky going down. Beansu on a rampage now, 4-8, and SK looking incredibly strong here.
PD still want to fight though.
Yeah, Taiki actually in a lot of trouble, gets very, very low. He's gonna be able to walk away though. Beansu tanking up this front line. Corki arrives in the nick of time, doing so much damage, and now says the last man standing is gonna go down. Double kill goes across to Steelbag, and that is gonna secure a 2,500 gold lead for SK.
That was so well played by SK, and actually, ultimately, the deal breaker there for PD was the fact that BMC could flash after Broky, and no one could flash after Steelback. Exactly the same thing was happening. It was almost as if it was mirrored along the center of mid lane. We got Steelback fighting by the entrance to his blue, Broky fighting by the entrance to his. Broky flashes over, BMC follows, picks up the kill. Steelback flashes over to the river. No one is there to follow him up because none of them have flash. That was entirely the reason why that fight was won. And that is kind of a lesson there. You don't necessarily always want to be using your flash so aggressively in lane situations because it might not be available when you really, really need it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that really separates the good players from the great players is using your summoner spells correctly, I believe. I can't remember where I heard this, but some professional player said in an interview that the best use of a summoner spell is always if you're going to be able to pull an objective from the fight that you use that summoner spell in. So, unless it's going to save your life and save an objective, then you shouldn't, or it's going to secure you an objective, then you shouldn't really be using it.
That is a very good point, you know. If it can do both, you're getting double the use out of it, really. So it makes a lot of sense efficiency-wise. And right now, I would definitely say that the summoner spells are being better used on the side of SK Prime. They're doing so much in these fights. Avenue actually taking a lot of damage to that Gromp. He just clearly needs a little bit more gold to go back and buy one of his items. He is relatively close to Azanya's, I believe, so that's likely what he's going to pick up. Now, SK Prime, or actually he decided to go for Rabadons. That is a very bold decision considering how, you know, firmly he is the main target for SK Prime right now. He got jumped on so heavily last fight. Oh, Koi!
Indeed, but Taiki going a bit of a bad spot. Koi going very aggressive, like we've seen for the entire game so far. I would expect to see Koi trying to get a bit more tanky because with the playstyle he's been running with, he's going to get punished if he goes as aggressive in these team fights as he has been in the lane.
Godbr's actually rotating to the top lane right now, and he doesn't have a teleport or anything like that to get back to his team. Obviously, he is the quickest at shoving waves, just puts the bomb down, runs back to the mid lane. But in this mid lane, we see Playing Ducks pushing up. Hook lands onto Koi. All BMC gets stunned up.
BMC taking a lot of damage, but he's able to soak it quite comfortably. Obviously, the Slicing Maelstrom going to negate a lot of that, but now Saze getting caught up.
That's
Beautiful
a great
headbutt Pulverize going to land on 2, but the team not really able to follow up on that. The Cataclysm going to go on Says. His ultimate has run out, doesn't have his flash, he's going to go down. And a really nice fight again for SK, and now they're trying to chase this one up. Are they going to be able to land anything? I don't think they are, but just again, really strong fight from them. The ultimate from Zillion is still available. They can go as aggressive as they please, and that's going to be the jungler in a lot of trouble. Has to use the repel. Going to be able to flash away from this one, but now Koi on this front line, he's going to be the focus target. Steelback flashing forward, a beautiful rocket. Going to pick up the kill onto Zion Uzi, and really, really strong fight from SK.
That was beautiful. Godbro didn't even need to use his chrono shift. That's how far ahead they were in that fight. They kited around all of the big ultimates that came out of playing Ducks, and as soon as they were gone, you know, they just turned around and annihilated. Godbro, as I said, not having used chrono shift means that if they fight right here, he's gonna have it available.
Yeah, and we're gonna see Taiki so aggressive. Doesn't have any mana though, but Says here trying to disrupt the enemy team. He doesn't have his ultimate. He's gonna take a lot of damage from that one, and SK gonna be backing away. They have decent vision coverage of Baron so that they know if playing Ducks try anything like rushing Baron potentially, it's not gonna happen. But trying to push out this mid lane, you're gonna see Godbro just clearing that with his bombs.
Yeah, Koi actually kind of wanted to go on a Godbro there. Unfortunately, they're aware that there's a chrono shift available for that. Would not likely have ended in a kill. SK Prime had to back up there. There was no mana on Steelback, but going in again now that there is.
So he's just going to be the focus target. He gets obliterated straight away. Taiki getting the Cataclysm down before he dies. Now BMC taking a lot of this. You're going to see Zion Uzi going into the back line though, but Barney D going to go down. That's a double kill onto Avenue. Now he's going to focus on Steelback. There's a shutdown. Lucian picking up that gold. A triple kill for Ari. Brokey trying to pick up the final kill of the fight onto Godbro. The Orb of Deception just missing there. They're not quite going to be able to get the ace, but this is going to be a tier 2 tower for them.
That was such a great turnaround by playing Ducks. I mean, they've been behind for a little while now. Now they're only 400 gold in deficit of SK Prime. That was largely in part due to the fact that Taiki and Beansu dived a little bit too far ahead of their team. Really, SK Prime, they succeed in these fights when they kite away from the ultimates that are coming to them. Unfortunately, fighting in a choke like that meant the Transcendent Blades were landing on every single target. Ari could easily land huge Orbs of Deception, and Broaki's Piercing Light hit everyone too. They were getting very easily hit by all of the AoE abilities, and because Steelback was so far in the backline, he could only hit Koi, couldn't kill anyone like Zion Uzi, Broaki, or Avenue. They couldn't really fight properly. SK Prime, though, didn't lose a great deal as a result of it. In fact, they are even still going to get this dragon, which is very important. They're now equal on dragons.
Yeah, and SK Prime with just such good map control. We saw the same from them last game, just taking away so many buffs from their opponents, and now just seeing where their opponents are on the map, easily able to take away that dragon despite losing the last team fight. Really strong play from them.
SK Prime really needs to get some vision in this Baron area. They don't have hardly any at the moment, only that upper bush in the middle lane leading into the river. And that's not enough, as you can see, because the Baron's actually been started. I think their spider senses are tingling, though. They are running over to it and put the pings down.
They have pinged it out. The jungler isn't here for playing Ducks just yet. Zion Uzi has arrived now. They should be able to get this one. The smite is available. There it goes. Baron Nashor picked up by playing Ducks. If they can just leave now and not fight SK, this is perfect for them. But Says on this front line gets caught by a Dragon Strike. A lot of damage actually coming down onto Taiki. Says trying to protect his team here. They're trying to just run away, but BMC coming in onto Says now. That's going to be the knockup. He manages to get away on 10 HP here. Koi won't be wanting the support now. BMC taking a lot of damage. We're going to see Avenue getting through. That's going to be the chrono shift onto BMC. And with the chrono shift used this early, this could be bad for SK. Manages to get out on the lantern, but that's going to be Godbro going down. First casualty of the fight. Now Brokey jumping straight onto the spot. That's going to be Valkyrie available. In fact, he's not. He has to flash over the wall there. Koi now jumping onto BMC. He may be able to finally get the kill onto BMC that he's been wanting all game. There it is. Going to go over to Avenue. In the meantime, Brokey picks up the kill onto Barney D. A perfect fight for playing Ducks, picking up 3 kills and the Baron.
I mean, SK Prime made the same mistake there that they made earlier. They're trying to engage a fight when really they need to be focusing on kiting backwards until they're in a position to do so. There was still Spirit Rush on Avenue, there was still Transcendent Blades on Koi. Saza did use his ultimate early, but he actually burned a bunch of the ultimates coming out of SK Prime because they tried to kill him. They got the inhibitor for this as well. Playing Ducks are now firmly in a lead after being behind for a very long time.
Yeah, and not a small lead either. 4,500 gold, equal in Dragons, and have an inhibitor down, as well as the Baron buff. With an inhibitor down pushing that mid lane, if they choose to split, Koi has teleport right now. Koi could go top lane. With the Baron minions, it's going to be so hard to defend that push, especially with 4 of them pushing in the bot lane.
Well, I mean, I definitely think, you know, SK Prime is not out of it yet. They just need to focus on picking fights that they can actually win. There, they thought to themselves, okay, they've just spent a bunch of mana on Baron, we can maybe go in now. The problem was they hadn't really used any of their important skills, so it's the same situation as it was in the mid lane. What they need to do is go defend a tower, try and burn some of the initiation tools, like a charm, wait for that to be on cooldown, and then go in. Also, the positioning of Barney D in that last fight was really bad. He was basically 1 versus 1 against Koi. And when your support's 1 versus 1 against Koi, your support's gonna lose, because Koi's on Irelia. So you gotta focus on getting the box into a position where it's gonna be useful at defending Steelback, at defending Godbro.
Yeah, and I mean, looking across the board right now, it is looking pretty nice for Playing Ducks. The only lane that's not really too far ahead is that bottom lane, the AD carry, but look at the farm. He's 40 farm nearly ahead of his lane opponent, and with the amount of assists he has, gold-wise, they're actually going to be... In fact, he's ever so slightly ahead of his lane opponent, so even in that bot lane where the score doesn't look so one-sided, it is one-sided. You're going to see now Koi just completely ignoring BMC, getting a bunch of damage down onto that inhibitor tower, and in the meantime, we've got 4 people pressuring this top lane.
Koi takes absolutely no damage from Maokai now, although Saza getting hooked in here. I think that was the right choice by SK Prime, deciding that it was not a fight they wanted to take. Obviously, BMC traded well with Koi earlier on, because as he was building AP, Koi was not building any resistances, he was just going for damage, AP skills nicely in the early game with your levels. Now in the late game, we got Merc Treads on Koi, we've got tank items on Beansu, and Koi can just do whatever he wants. He's completely impervious to that damage.
And look at this, 2 different inhibitor towers going down simultaneously here for Playing Ducks. This is perfect for them. Uzi taking the death sentence with his Banshees. That's going to be the support going down. Saz getting a 3-man pulverize. This is going to be Oni-chan on the front line. Has to flash away to Kai, trying to do what he can, but he's going to go down as well. Double kill for Ari now. Brokey jumping onto Godbro, but that's going to waste Godbro's ultimate. Doesn't even go down. Not going to get the heal from that. Has to stand on the fountain for a while. A perfect fight yet again for Playing Ducks. They're going to get the top inhibitor. They're going to get the bottom inhibitor. I don't think there's anything SK can do about this right now.
There's no way they're going to be able to defend this with Taiki together for 20 seconds. Beansu's trying to go in, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, Beansu goes down. This is going to be the first Nexus tower going down. Saz is going to be the focus target. Can the bot finish him? Yes, it can. 1 casualty, but that's not going to be enough. Playing Ducks actually getting forced away here. Barney D doing a lot. The charm is going to miss. Avenue having to flash away from that one. Flash forwards as well from Steelback, and they should be able to get away from this one. If the charm comes up, they might even turn on this. Oh no. Godbro gonna back away after that, but I mean, they just took so much off that push.
That was actually very fortunate for SK Prime. They avoided both the cocoon and the charm that could have turned that fight around and would have signaled Playing Ducks to just go in and re-engage. They were slightly afraid of Barney D, but not to the point where if they had CC onto Steelback that they wouldn't have just collapsed onto it and went for the win. So now they've decided to back off. Superman is just pushing every single wave. What can you really do as SK Prime here? I think they need to start thinking about next game.
Yeah, but it's gonna be difficult. I mean, looks like we may end up in a 1-1 in this series, despite that first game going so well for SK Prime in the end. Playing Ducks really showing that late game is not something they're afraid of either, and actually looking like they want to end this game fairly shortly, but we'll have to see. Obviously, it's not over just yet, but that is going to be the third dragon coming over to Playing Ducks. And I mean, with nearly a 10,000 gold lead, Playing Ducks are looking incredibly strong.
Yep, here they go. They're deathballing up for the final push down the mid lane, or at least they hope it'll be the final push. And I'm not sure that this can defend it.
We're going to see the flash engage from BMC. That's going to be a two-man pulverized as well. BMC going to get taken solo. There's the chrono shift already used. Saz is going to get caught up by the death sentence, but he's not going to get anything off that. And that's going to be Godbro going down. BMC really not the target they want to chrono shift. And now Binsu, despite the chrono shift, is going to go down anyway. That's going to be Elise picking that kill up. Last Nexus tower goes down. Another beautiful fight from PD. And now they take game 2. It's going to be 1-1, ladies and gentlemen.
What an incredible game. This game was actually a lot like last